right, we should be good. I'm just going to make sure we're good on Facebook. Excellent. We are all set. Okay, perfect. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our Westy Live. My name is Jamie Chavez. I'm the president and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And every Wednesday, we bring to you a live broadcast featuring one of our newest members to introduce them and give them a chance to talk to you about their business. So thanks for joining us today. If this is your first time, a special welcome. Please like our Facebook page so that you get notifications for when we go live in the future. Or if you are on YouTube, you can hit subscribe and view all of our previous broadcasts there as well. We also offer broadcasts on Mondays, which are city updates featuring interviews with our mayor, our councilors, other key city staff. So we hope that you tune in for those as well to find out what's going on down at City Hall. And as you watch the broadcast this morning, please feel free to engage with us, ask any questions in the comment section, say any comments, or just say hi, and we will get to those during the interview. And now finally, a warm welcome to Karina with Travel Amore Vacations. How are you this morning?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. We're a little late today, so we'll go just a little bit longer, make sure we get a half an hour here, but thank you for joining me today. Let's go ahead and just get started with tell us about yourself and your business and what you would like us to know about Travel Amore.
I'm a homeschool mom. My kids are all grown now, but as they grew up, we just kind of traveled. I took them places. We took friends places. It's just always been a passion of mine. And then in 2020, I was running cafes for a local company, and COVID sort of shut those down and changed my trajectory, and I was laid off. And so it seemed the perfect time to sort of start to pivot and start my own business. And I'm all about helping people create memories. I focus a lot on group and family travel. And so that's just kind of what I do. And I like to take sort of the stress off of my clients and just help them have seamless, amazing vacations is basically what I'm all about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What inspired your passion for travel?
I don't know. I've read an article that says that there's an actual gene that has they call it the wanderlust gene. And my earliest memories are just, we'd road trip to Iowa and Wisconsin to see my family. But I started at travel journals at the age of 10 for London and Paris, having never been there. So it's just kind of always been part of me. We've taken our 5 kids ziplining in Belize. We've done service projects at an orphanage in Honduras. We've taken them around all of the United States, most of the United States, and a good portion of Europe. So it's just kind of always been there for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. I also have the travel. Did you call it the travel gene?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had kids. Well, my first is 8 now, so it's definitely less than it used to be. But prior to kids, I'd been to 18 countries and tried to do 2 big trips a year and really get those travel experiences in. So I have that bug too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I guess there's worse addictions you could have, but that's kind of what it feels like. Like I'm always helping people travel or taking people with me to travel so, yeah. And I like to do group travel. I like to get kids out traveling. I try and have 1 or 2 groups. I'm taking a group this year to do the Christmas markets in Europe, down the Rhine River. I'm taking a group to Alaska next year to do kind of a cruise land tour. So we get to cruise a little bit and then go see Denali and see the Yukon. I've got a big Italy trip coming up next year. And I do some that are just group trips where people just kind of come, or I do escorted ones where I'm there with them kind of throughout the whole process. And then I have my clients that just kind of, book regular travel through me for all of their amazing trips. So it's really an exciting thing for me. And I'm so glad kind of COVID forced me to pivot into my true passion and be able to do this.
Yeah, that's amazing. Would you say that you have travel experiences that you specialize in?
I tend to specialize a lot in the US and Europe. Those are really my niches. We're a Disney family, so I do a lot of, especially Disney World. I've been to Disneyland Paris, Disneyland California, Florida. I've been on the cruise. So I'm working on helping somebody book kind of like in Asia, covering all of the Disney trips in Asia. So I do that, but my primary passion and a lot of my clients are focused on US and European travel.
Amazing. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I love it.
So, with so many ways to book online and all of the sites that you can go to look through travel and book travel, why should someone work with a travel advisor?
I get that question quite often because I actually had somebody come up to me one day and say, "Is that still a thing?" Um, so for me as a travel advisor, I'm there from the moment you book all the way till you get home. If something goes sideways, I had a client once and their flight just got completely delayed. And so they got in line to start fixing that. And by the time they got up into line, I already had them rebooked on another flight, a hotel for the night taken care of. We're just kind of that advocate for our clients to make sure things get taken care of the way they should, and kind of just a little, I like to call myself a little peace of mind for when you're traveling. I'm your advocate, I'm your partner. I want you to have amazing experiences and amazing memories and not have to worry so much with the stress. I have clients who've had to kind of, for personal reasons, change their trips a little bit, and so I'm on the phone on hold waiting for them, taking care of all those little details so they can kind of get their appointments done or get their work done or whatever they need to. So I'm really just kind of there to help and to advocate for my clients and just give them that peace of mind and hopefully a seamless vacation, or at least somebody in their corner when it goes a little north. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That happens. I strongly recommend using a travel advisor, especially for larger trips or international trips, because there's just a lot of moving pieces, and when something goes wrong, you can always get someone on the phone, and so that's much easier than having to try and figure it out if you've booked on Expedia or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of colleagues talk about like price, Costco price beats a lot, but then if something happens, they have a really hard time getting something fixed. And Europe, especially right now, we've got a new visa that just started in England or in the UK last year. We've got the ETIAS that Europe keeps pushing it back, but I'm hearing it's going to be coming up this fall. And so I run, actually, I can post it in the chat. I run a private group just to kind of create a community and a place where I post a lot of travel tips and travel inspiration and what my clients are doing or what I'm working on. And so there's definitely a lot of moving parts, especially if you're going internationally, that a good travel agent will help you navigate, make sure you're on it. I send reminders out to my clients. I have these great Trello boards that I do for my clients. All of their information is in an app, so they don't have to go searching their emails anymore for where was my flight confirmation, where's my
Oh,
hotel
so
confirmation.
helpful.
Yeah, it includes everything. And then I throw in, great places to eat, places I've been, souvenir recommendations. If you're going to Paris, if you're going to Milan, here's the top things you should be looking for. Or food. I'm always about the food. You can't ever go wrong with that. So a lot of food recommendations as well.
Awesome.
So
What would you say are like some common mistakes that travelers make when they're planning their own vacations rather than going through an advisor?
I know one of the biggest ones I see is misspelling your name on your tickets. They need to line up with your passport. And I actually have done this once myself. We took my daughter and her best friend to Europe, and I put my name on both tickets, and it was a $350 mistake. And so those especially are the little things, or not having enough connection time. I was booking a trip for actually clients that are joining me in Europe in November, December, and the cruise line tried to give them a 50-minute layover in Germany. And I don't ever recommend, less than 2 hours stateside. So once you get international, you want at least a 3 hour layover, and less than an hour is never enough. So it's just those kinds of little mistakes that can really start your trip off on the wrong. And a big one for cruising, a lot of cruisers I have seen lately fly in day of their cruise. And I've had at least three, not me, because I actually won't even book a cruise unless you fly in the day before. But I've had three colleagues whose clients have actually missed their cruises because their flight was delayed or the traffic was bad and they just can't get there on time.
That would be the worst. That would be such a bummer. There's nothing you
Oh,
can do.
I know. It would be so devastating, I can't even imagine, and
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's just little things like that that I help educate my clients on, and not everybody in my private group travels with me, which is fine, but I still, I'm there to educate everybody on travel. It's just such a love and a passion for me that I don't want anybody having a bad experience traveling. That's just so amazing, so
That's great. How would you say that you can help clients save time and stress and maybe even potentially money?
um So I sit down, I have a one-on-one with my clients to start, and I like to do what I call first and best. So I sit down, we have a consult, I find out, what are they looking at, what time frame, what season, what locations, and then I try and work with them and put together the best proposal so that they're not coming back to me, oh, well, I know I said Paris, but really I want London. I try and gather all of that information right off. So that right off saves them time. And then I do watch for deals. I don't tend to do the cheapest because I do think there's something to be said for not doing the cheapest thing, but there's definitely ways to save on money. There's definitely still some deals you can get on airfare. I know locations like Disney, you can watch for deals. There's seasons, if you go on shoulder season for Europe, you definitely can save money there versus going at the height of summer, which I always recommend shoulder season anyway. It's a little less touristy. You have a better chance at getting the tickets you want and the times you want. So just little things like that that I help navigate my clients through. And then once it's in my hands, I just take care of all of the bookings for them, all of the little details. I get that Trello board together for them. So it's just a little things like that that I think really help save them time. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to worry about it. Really, you just pack your bag and show up, and I've got everything taken care of for you.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, well, give us some travel trends. What destinations are the most popular right now?
Europe is always a popular destination. I see a lot of that, especially with the Olympics just being in Milan. Milan has really taken off as a top tier destination. And I haven't been to South America yet, but it's definitely on my list. And Costa Rica and Machu Picchu in Peru are definitely up there. I see so many people going there, and African safaris. So that is definitely on my next bucket list. I think I
Yeah.
have a couple of friends who are putting together group trips. I have a friend who just went on one. I have some clients that are talking about it. So that is definitely a huge one that I'm seeing right now. So,
Yeah.
which,
I have been to I've been to Machu Picchu. It's incredible.
yeah, it
So I
looks
highly
amazing.
recommend that for anyone that's listening that's looking for their next vacation. Peru might be it.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It just looks amazing. I've got a colleague who's doing a women's retreat down there right now, and I'm just like, oh, it looks stunning there.
Yeah, it's truly gorgeous. Yeah. What about any hidden gems? Are there any like underrated destinations that people should consider right now?
Um, I don't, my clients tend to do more mainstream, although I am doing this tour, The Secrets of Southern Italy next year. And it's kind of a little more off the beaten path. Usually you see a lot of Rome, Florence, Venice, Cinque Terre for Italy. And this one we start in Naples and go kind of down towards the boot of Italy. And we've got some amazing experiences. There's some caves there that have like a history going back 9,000 years, and we have option to like do a cooking class in one of them or just explore them. There's some UNESCO World Heritage sites down there that just look really amazing. We're going to Lezzi and Puglia, and so there's definitely still some hidden gems to be found if somebody is looking for something a little more off the beaten path. Um, I can definitely help with that. It's just doesn't tend to be my niche because it's not what my clients are specifically looking for, but they are
Yeah.
definitely, my husband and I have even found them in the United States. We found an amazing little winery called the Purple Toad in Paducah, Kentucky. And so just some little things like that that are just definitely out there. And I always recommend, when people travel even to the big cities, kind of wander, get lost, get away from the touristy places. Another great way to save money is to not eat right outside the Roman Colosseum or right outside, Windsor Castle. You want to go back a little bit, find the local spots, and find some amazing culture, some people, some food, all of that, that is just, in my opinion, the best way to travel.
Yeah. Would you say that people are traveling differently today than they were a few years ago? Did COVID change anything, or are we just doing things differently?
I think it did. I think we're starting to get back into it more, but I think I still talk to people, like even my husband, we're flying to Boston next month, and it's going to be the first time he's flown since COVID. Not for any specific reason. It just, I've seen, just some people a little more hesitant to fly, and um, just a little, things have changed as far as security and being on planes and those kinds of things. So there's definitely been some changes, but it definitely seems, at least in my circle, that traveling is starting to kind of make a resurgence. Not that it ever really went away, but you're definitely seeing more people talking about it. I think AI has changed it as well. People tend to do a lot more research these days as well, um, which, please don't book your any itinerary that AI has put together for you. I've seen some horror stories there too, where it sends you to this location and it's really not the city you thought it was.
Oh,
It's out in the desert somewhere. So, but yeah, it's definitely, I think people are much more educated about travel now because we have it at our fingertips.
yeah.
So you definitely, I see more clients coming to me now that know exactly what they want and where they want to go, and they've already researched it, and they're just looking for somebody to take all of the, I call it tedious. It's not tedious for me, but all those little things off their plate. And so you definitely see a much more educated clientele now as far as where they want to go.
Okay, very cool. And then what about like traveling with kids? Do you have advice for families with children, places to go, or just tips in general?
There's, we started out with our kids young, just taking them all over the United States. We are so diverse, and there's so many amazing places outside of like the theme parks and things, especially if you have sort of young tweens, early to even into late teens. Washington DC is amazing. It's full of the Smithsonian. I think the Smithsonian Institute has like 17 different museums, that are all free. You can wander around. They have the Air and Space Museum, they have the American History Museum. So that's really great. You've got places like Northern California where there's just so much history. Here in Colorado, we've got Estes Park, and we've got Breckenridge, and the Rocky Mountains are right there. If you go to Europe, Europe is great because kids under 18 get into pretty much all of the museums over there. So my daughter, I think we took her when she was 9 the first time, and Rome is still her favorite city. She's 26 with second kid on the way, and Rome is still where her heart is. You can go to Big Ben. There's just so much history for your kids to see and explore there. When you think about here, yeah, our country is 250 years old, which is amazing. But you go over there, and in Rome, things are pre Jesus's time, and it's just so stunning and amazing. So there's
Yeah.
just so many places you can go with your kids. Like I said, we took our kids to Belize and did zip lining, and it was amazing. You go over this forest and you end in a cave, and yeah, there's just so many things. And cruises are always good because you can keep your kids contained. So
Yeah.
that's always a great one. The ones I've experienced, they have really great kids programs. So you and your husband could go have a great little meal while your kids are being taken care of. There's just so many options for taking your kids places that, yeah, and it's definitely a passion. So anybody with kids out there, I am happy to give suggestions, help you book your next trip for your kids. Yeah, we've traveled and our adult children, there's 5 of them, and most of them still do like every other year we do a big family vacation all together. So
Yeah. Denise says 99 days until she's in Italy. Denise has been looking forward to that trip for a very long time, so that's exciting for
oh,
her.
that is exciting. Where are you going, Denise?
She'll type us here in just a sec. And then Dave asks a question, what do you recommend on packing, overpacking, or underpacking for international trips? I feel like I am a chronic overpacker. So he's
You
looking for
know, so many people are. I am not. We had the opportunity to take 6 months off, and we literally traveled a month in the US and 5 months in Europe with just carry-ons. And that's my plan for our next trip. So I highly recommend less is more, especially internationally, because you have to, if you've ever been to Europe, there's cobblestone streets, there's small streets. And my rule in my family was always, even with my kids, except, like 5 and under, you have to carry your own bag. So,
Exactly.
so I am definitely one for underpacking. Plus, I love to leave some room for souvenirs and things.
Yeah.
Um, that
You have to
being
have like
said,
a whole extra bag.
yeah, and I do. I was just gonna say, for my upcoming Europe trip, I have 2 extra bags. You can get these great bags that fold up into smaller bags, and so I'll switch my carry-on over to that and fill my suitcase up with chocolate and wine and olive oil and
Yeah.
pasta. But definitely going over, I am more of an underpacker than an
Yeah.
overpacker for sure.
I did a 2-week trip through Croatia. We went to 5 different places, and I just had a backpack. That's all I had, and it was a big backpack. It could fit a lot, but it was a backpack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just laundry at the places that we stayed, and washed clothes in the sink if I needed to, and
Yeah, I'm definitely an underpacker and think you just have a better experience if you're not lugging stuff all over the place. So
yeah, for
for
sure.
sure. Oh, that's great, Denise. The Amalfi Coast is beautiful. If you drink, try the limoncello. It's amazing. Pompeii is amazing. If you can get to Herculaneum as well, um, it's the same sort of vibe as Pompeii, but seems to be a little lesser traveled.
Yeah.
So
Pompeii
that's
was one of the coolest places I've ever visited, just because to know what actually happened there, because you kind of get this idea that these people were running for their lives and trying to escape this volcano, which isn't at all what happened. They chose to stay there because they didn't want to leave their wealth. And so
yeah.
that's just crazy.
It's amazing, and they have a really fascinating museum in Naples that has a lot of stuff from Pompeii, and actually a lot of it almost looks like black marble, which you didn't see a lot of in Pompeii. But yeah, it was really fascinating. It was a great place, one of the best places we took our kids.
Yeah, and definitely back to the kid conversation. It's always been my philosophy with my own children is the earlier I expose them to travel, then they'll be the sooner they'll get used to it, right? And I did take my kids to Mexico when my youngest was a year old, and she screamed the entire way back on the plane. And it was horrifying, but at the same time, it was like, we just got to get through these growing pains so that they know what this is. And now they'll sit on a plane and they're fine.
Yeah, yeah. We would always pack special toys. We buy special toys that were just for traveling and special snacks just for traveling. So, especially when they were younger, we were really good at bribing our kids to
Yeah.
when we were traveling. But yeah, I agree with that.
Another thing that I always like to do when I travel is to I'm a wine drinker, and I like to go sample wine and bring wine back. So I always make sure that I take with me those like wine pouches that seal so that we can pack them and bring them back.
Yes. Do those work? I've wondered if they are as good as they
You.
look. Oh,
Yep, you
that's
just wrap them in your
fantastic.
clothes so that they're secure, but I've never had a bottle of wine break in my suitcase. So
Oh, that's good. I'm a wine drinker as well, and we're going to be in kind of my wine region in December. So I'm definitely looking forward to bringing some wine back. So that's good
yeah,
to know.
definitely. So what would you say is your favorite destination that you've ever visited?
I have a lot, but and I know this is so typical, but Paris has my heart. Like from the moment I stepped into the city, it's just I've been in Paris. We lived there for a month. We were there in 2015 during the bombing. We're going back in November. It's just got I just am so in love with everything about Paris. It has never gotten old for me. So that's my number one kind of, cliche spot.
Yeah.
But we had a chance to visit St. David's, Wales as well, which is I believe the smallest city in the UK. And it wasn't planned. It was sort of this last minute pivot that we had to make. And it was absolutely stunning. The cathedral there is just amazing. The people, the food, we spent a week there and it was just absolutely stunning. So that's kind of my little off the beaten city. I think that is at the top of my list for sure.
Awesome. And what is one destination that everyone should experience at least once?
Oh, all of the big ones. I mean, London for the history, just, you can see the tower, which goes back 1,000 years, just the history and the ceremony. Rome for the Colosseum. Honestly, there's so many places,
Yeah.
even in the United States. I think Washington, D.C. is one. I think the rainforests in Washington State are one. Like, yeah, there's just so many places, but I would think in Europe, always the big ones. We did Stockholm. Stockholm is made up of 20,000 islands, and that was fascinating to see where the Vasa crashed. And um, yeah, there's just so many places I think everybody should experience once.
Yeah, definitely. And then what's one travel item you never leave home without?
Oh, honestly, my Kindle. I have 4,000 books on it. And so that would be my number one item. I would almost probably choose it over clothes because I can always buy clothes where I'm going. But that's my number one item that I would always take. Travel wise, I would say get a good suitcase with wheels. I took some scholars to the East Coast for a graduation trip, and one kid brought a backpack or like a huge duffel bag. And so
Oh,
I
yeah.
always recommend invest a little bit more in a good piece of luggage if you like to travel, if you travel a lot, and just make sure it has really good wheels on it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've got just a couple minutes left. Is there anything else that you'd like people to know about you or Travel Amore Vacations?
um I'm gonna put my link maybe in the chat if I can. I'd love to invite everybody to just come and check out my group, check out what I do. I have a passion for it. I love helping people explore new things. So even if you're not, ready to book with me or travel with me, I'd love to have you join my group and just come get to know me better and see what I do. And I really thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, well, I thank you for coming on today and sharing more about your business. And people can also reach you by looking you up on the chamber directory. So if anyone's got questions, they can find you that way as well. But thanks so much. And thanks to everyone who joined us, and have a good rest of your week.
Absolutely. You as well. Thank you.
All right, bye, everyone.